Hi there. Here I want to introduce how to install a CentOS or Red Hat into a virtual machine. As you know, that CentOS actually is almost the same as the Red Hat. Only difference is CentOS is open source and Red Hat you may need to pay some subscription fee, maybe every year, to get support, right? But for our test, I think the CentOS should be okay. I want to use this virtual box, right? You may know that the virtual box should be easy to download from the internet, and it's also open source. My plan is to install 5 Red Hat or CentOS together because my final goal is to build a Kubernetes. Kubernetes usually when you do some testing, you need about 3 nodes to acting as the master. It's a master cluster, and then 2 nodes as a working node. Okay, I already set up 1, so I will in this demo I will just continue to set up 2, and later I will show you how to use the clone to do some copy layer. So basically, just click here, machine, new VM. We call it CentOS -2, and for this folder, I just located to my original folder. You can see I already installed CentOS 1 here, so I continue to use the CentOS 2. Sorry about that. So just use this one. So let me choose again. I choose this one. Okay, then choose. Here I need to select what kind of the OS I need to install. For sure it belongs to Linux. As here you can see they don't list about CentOS, but as I say, this Red Hat is the same. Also now everything should go for a 64-bit, so I select 64-bit here. And for the memory, because later on I need to practice some Kubernetes and also some OpenShift, right? So I just want to be 2 gig should be enough. CPU just by default is 1. And for hard disk, I will create about 30 gig. Here I just keep the same. The purpose of this one just to do some set up a test environment. So I just set up all default is VDI. Here's some also use the default. As I say, I plan to assign about. So here I will assign 30 gig, but it doesn't mean that when you set up, you will really occupy the 30 gig in your hard disk. It's just like a VMware called thick provision or thin provision. Here I just try to use the thin provision. That means the maximum should be 30 gig, but you will grow from 0. When you install more and more, you grow up bigger and bigger, right? So this one will help you to save some the hard disk in your real physical hard disk layer. So I just select this dynamic allocated. So here just change it to 30. Okay, 30. Okay, then yeah, that's done, right? So here I need to set up some information. One is the network, right? Because usually by default network should be net. That means this virtual box will have some internal networking, and all the VM connect to the internal networking, then go to outside, right? But I want to build my test environment. I need to log in from my, this is my desktop Ubuntu system. I need to telnet to it. If it's within virtual box inside network, I cannot tell inside. So it's not easy to management. For sure, I can use the console, but I want to use the telnet, right, from outside to inside. So I don't want to use the net. So I just want to use the bridge network. Bridge network just means you bridge to my home router, right? The source provider give me a router. This router, I have iPad, iPhone, also my cell phone, also this Ubuntu desktop. They all just they go into some layer 2 bridge, so they get IP assigned from the source provider router, right? So in here, I just want to list VirtualBox VM also bridge to the same router, so they're in the same network as my desktop. So later, when the OS up, my laptop can SSH to it. And here this WLP just mean the wireless because this Ubuntu, this desktop, the host machine is usually wireless to go to the service provider router. So I choose this one. You can select whatever. Just make sure this should be the link go to internet. Then the other thinking is the other settings we need to set up the VM, right? Set up the operation system ISO. Already download the CentOS ISO. This one again, CentOS is free. You can search CentOS download. They will guide to the page, right? So you just need to download the ISO, just like a virtual CD-ROM, and download it and save it to your local machine. Then here, just select mounted. So this when we boot up, you try to mount the CD-ROM and begin the regular installation. Okay, I think that's it. I set up two settings. Basically, everything just by default, except the RAM, the memory, I increase to 2 gig, and the hard disk I increase to 30 gig. But again, here just mean I assign 30 gig. It doesn't mean you use 30 gig from beginning. You grow as you install more application in OS. The third thing is I just change this storage to mount the ISO, so you can boot from ISO and begin to installation. And the fourth one is for network. I use a bridge network. Then here you can just you can from your VM to access the internet. Also allow my home another client can SSH or HTTP to those VM. For this is the purpose for later on we are going to do more testing there. Okay, now we just click the start, the regular start, and you will pop out a window here. You can see the window. You begin to pop out some console window. So from here you can watch the installation procedure. So here just remember to select to the ISO file. So you put from this ISO file to begin reinstallation. Okay. So here you ask you to capture, because when you use your mouse to click inside this window, that one then everything you type or use the mouse within this small window, right? You can see now I use my mouse. You cannot see my mouse anymore because mouse already be captured within this VM already. But how can you get it out? Just use the right control. You have two control in your computer, right? Just use the right control. You click one, you can see. Now you can see my mouse, the cursor again. Now the cursor belongs to my desktop, right? Now I click here. Again, you can see here. You just warning tell you that from now on, then everything mouse move will be within this. You can see now. You can see I cannot move out, right? This one always be locked into this small window. So if you want to go out, you need to click the right right control. You can see this is white color mouse cursor is my real mouse, and inside this black one is the mouse cursor within this window, right? So here's just the key thing. How can you switch? You remember use the right control. Okay, so here nothing special, just select English, and here's something maybe you want to pay attention. First of all, because this environment is prepared for later installation of the Kubernetes. With the Kubernetes, the time zone is very important. So I just make sure everything is in the New York City and the time, right? There's later they will sync here. And then keyboard by default, language by default, installation, it comes from the ISO file, remember? So it's also by default, right? And software selection, I just keep the default, which is the minimum installation. Because in this video, later, I will show you how to install one by one, right? So in a production environment, maybe you want to begin from like server, like you can save you some time, right? You just, when you install OS, you have to install all the components already. But in here, I just want you to install the minimum first. So you can choose it by yourself to install one by one later on. Okay, then here's two things. One is for the queue dump, just by default, and security policy I don't want to change, right? So one thing is for the network. Like I say, my here. Let me just close this small warning message. Okay, so here I want to manually assign the IP instead of the let my service provider router assign for me. You can use DHCP for sure, but like I say, this is a server environment, right? Usually server should have the static IP. Otherwise, when the client log into it, every time the IP need change, it's not very convenient, right? So here I just click add. My home network is 192 and 168.0.0 is 324. My home router, the gateway is 192.168.0.1, and the whole network is 324, right? So I want to reserve about from 200 to 255, for example, right, as my lab environment, right? I already create a Centos VM, as you can see here. I manually static IP assigned to it is 201, now it's 202. Okay, and for the DNS, I use the 808.8. This is Google DNS. You can use whatever you want, but 808.8 is more easy to remember, so that's why I assigned to it. Now it's okay. And here, remember, you need to turn it on, and you can see everything is here. So once a year, during installation, the CentOS will get information and help you to input the config file there. For sure, you can change it later on if you really want to do it. So for hostname and for the CentOS one, I already named it called master 1, and this will be master 2. Like I say, in the final picture, we have the 3 master and also 2 working nodes. So here, but all of them, the OS point of view, installation should be the same. Nothing different. Okay, so it's okay. And for this system, like I say, I already assigned 30 gig already. I just want the system to be auto configuration, right? You can set up everything by default, right? By default, that means you can create a root partition, also create a swap partition, and something else. Everything is by default follow the CentOS suggestion. And for sure, if you have some real requirement, you can just call configure partitioner by yourself. Like later on, if you want to do some Kubernetes, you need to install Docker. Some best practice suggests Docker should have some dedicated partition, and swap also need to turn off, for example, right? So, but all of this one, you can later change it by yourself. Here just for testing purpose, so I just keep everything should be the same. Okay, you can see here everything. There's no any warning, no any yellow color or red color mean obstacle store yet. So also you can see here the begin store already become clickable. So I click here, then you can see that's already begin installation. During installation, you can give a root password. I just give you the same root password as my other virtual machine. So easy for you later to be logging. And you can see the warning just tell you that the password too simple, but this one is for test purpose, so it should be okay. It may take some time. I just stop here for a while. I will come back when you finished. Let me pause the video first. So here you can see you still need some time, but at least you already finished all the components. Now it's generate some boot information. I hope it can finish very soon. Okay, here we are done. You can see already successful completed, right? So now first we need to unmount the video, unmount this ISO. Sorry about that. Unmount the ISO. Otherwise, when you power cycle this machine, you may again put from this ISO and you will begin another installation. This is not what we want, so we just remove this from virtual drive. Then first amount. Then here we can just begin to do a reset. Yeah, here let me just do a reboot again. Maybe something I'm not sure, but let me do a reboot again. I think the issue may be because I directly power off the CentOS. You know that when we finish it, you say click the button to reboot, right? I didn't click the button. I directly power cycle it. Maybe you generate some issue. So I just do it again. And as you can see here, let's see. Here we go. You can see now it's okay, right? You can see already successful power into the CentOS right now. So okay, let's log into the root, also the preset password, just to make sure our IP is okay. Okay, here's remember we set up as 202, right? So do a pin, make sure DN is also okay. So everything's okay, perfect. Also the here is called master2 is also our host name. Later I will show you how to change your name here. Now as the last step, let me try to telnet from my desktop. Go to here to see everything all okay. So here we just as you know that in the Ubuntu, you just use Control Alt T. That will bring out a new terminal window. So from here, let's give it a try. 2.168.0.202, and here, okay. Okay, perfect. So we finished the master 2. Yeah, we will stop here for this video, and later we will continue to set up the rest 3 nodes. But for that, I will use some good tool called clone, right? I should not use because the benefit with VM is that you can build a golden template, then clone from that golden template. Right, no need to set up one by one. And later I will make another video to show you how to clone and to quickly to build about totally 5 VM layer. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.